Silat, a very technical, a very artistic form of martial arts, one of the top 5 deadliest martial arts in the world, isn't it? Fantastic.
We're back with One Silat, the One Silat Championship into its first challenge night here in the open air arena, as you can see in Precinct 4 in Putrajaya. A momentous night for the martial art. We've already seen 3 of the fights. Sitting next to me in the commentary box, joining me for the action, Anthony Sunday, sports journalist, fight fan. Anthony, great fights we've seen so far. A couple of them ended a bit early.
Definitely. The very first fight that we saw was really not really the eye-opener that we were expecting as far as Silat was concerned, but the second and third fight, Audrey and Ha came out with guns blazing and won in the very first round.
And that is exactly the term that you should be using, all guns blazing and just explosive force from the beginning. Just too much, especially from Mohamed Solihin, who had to be almost helped out of the ring because he was that dazed. Up next, we have in the welterweight class in the men's division, that's 77.1 kilograms, the welterweight class. Uzbekistan taking on Singapore. Saifuddinov Jamshid and Mohamed Rashid will be up next. Just a correction there, this is actually later on in the fight card. This is fight number 9, also in the lightweight division, 70.3 kilograms. Mohamed Nohisham from Malaysia there, draped in the flag, against Khairul Anwar from Singapore. It's a battle of the causeway here, Anthony.
Yes, it will be. They moved this fight up for whatever reason, but nonetheless, we still will have a full 10-fight card. But right now, you have there Mohamed
Nohisham getting his pat down.
And again, being assisted by one of the top fighters that Malaysia has developed.
That's right, and Osman has in fact made a few headlines of late.
Oh, definitely. And she's looking forward to even more in the days to come. But right now, the focus is going to be on her compatriot, Mohamed. And there's that pat down that you were talking about. Just wanted to make sure that everything is in order before they put some of the Vaseline on his face.
That's right. He's got to check that all apparel and everything else is in rules with, is in line with the regulations. Born in 1990, makes him 25 years old. Mohamed Nohisham Shamsuddin. Silat, Muay Thai, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling.
Well, he's going to be able to use basically all those disciplines except for wrestling.
Yeah, that's right. Unless, of course, you can get those moves out in 10 seconds or less. And he's going to be up against Khairul Anwar Abdul Kahar from Singapore, Silat, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And again, steeped in tradition, we have here the headscarves being put on.
There are various levels of excellence you can reach in Silat. Of course, there's the 6 stripes as a practitioner, but then you can be a guru and a mahaguru as well. Learn the higher elevated parts of the order. So one of our fighters makes his way into the ring, and it's Malaysia's Mohamed Nohisham. Flag being carried by Anna Osman. We were just saying how she has been making some headlines of late.
Yes, she has. She has really taken the MMA scene by storm, but of course, the focus here tonight is Silat. So let's meet Khairul Anwar.
Here he comes. Well, it's a powerful entrance from the Singaporean.
You can see there his achievements in 2012. the champion of Ultimate Beatdown in 2013.
The Lions Fight League 2013 champion as well.
Exactly.
19 years old. Full of energy by the looks of it. But we've said that about a few of our fighters so far. They've gone into the ring and come out with, let's just say, a different idea on things. Mohamed Solian being the other Singapore fighter that really had to be taken care of when he was taken out of the ring. But Singapore, Malaysia, I mean, in terms of rivalries around Southeast Asia, you don't really get bigger than that.
Exactly. Right now, he's at the prep point. Getting ready to make his official entry to the ring. Go ahead.
Now, remember, some of these fighters have never had the exposure that they're having tonight in terms of the big audience and the big stage. So, as you can see, some of them are really enjoying the experience of just being out here.
And a lot of times for a lot of these fighters, it can be daunting because leading up to the fight, actually, you know, they're full of confidence.
Yeah.
They think that they will be able to execute their game plan, but once they step into that ring,
it's
and
just,
as you said,
yeah,
it's a different ball game altogether.
Different ball game, completely. There's one thing about reading the rules, and the other one about trying to avoid them when they're coming at you at speed. And we'll see from that 8 steps of Silat, which both fighters will, of course, perform before they fight, as to how they are feeling. And it is great to see that every single fighter that steps into this ring has to go through almost the approval of the gurus and the Maha gurus and the senior VIPs that are here. So, Khairul Abdul Kahar. The lighter and the shorter of both. There's actually a sizable difference between them in height here, and you were talking about earlier about how height, it is always easier to hit down. If you look at that, 178 to 167, that's a good 11 centimeter difference.
Not to mention that reach.
Yeah, that's right.
That will definitely come into play.
But of course, this gives Hisham the use of flying punches, being taller and having that reach advantage. You come in with a few of those. Knees, of course, flying knees as well. There are actually 7 ranges of fighting in Silat. Basically, they're all, it's around 3 or 4 foot per stage, and it's from face to face, close contact, moving outwards. Now, this 7-meter ring, it probably takes in account maybe 3 or 4 of those stages. Each of those stages have their own attacks that can be launched against your opponent. And here are the 8 steps of Silat from Mohamed Noisham. Wow, strong, confident. The key steps of moving forward, keeping balance. Very similar to the performance we saw earlier from one of the referees, AJ Pyro, who were commenting earlier about how the referees themselves have shown exactly how good they are at Silat.
Well, definitely, they are very accomplished, all 3 of them.
As we look at the 8 steps from Khairulanwar.
And now they're getting ready.
That's right,
for the actual fight.
After all, the tradition, there is that one point in any ring sport where it's let's get ready to rumble.
Well, Mohamed has got to be favored here as far as the height and the reach is concerned, and at the same time, he is fighting here in Malaysia in front of his hometown fans.
Exactly.
One thing he's got to worry about really is the adrenaline dump more than anything else, because, you know, you come into that ring with just so much energy, and then after the 8 steps, all of a sudden with that adrenaline dump, you just suddenly feel that you can't go any further.
You know, like light on your feet. And here we go, round 1.
Let's see who's got a little bit more energy here.
Well, not surprisingly, Noisham going for the takedown, being the taller of the fighters.
Not to mention the fact that he is a wrestler, but 10 seconds, they're going to have to be back up on their feet.
Much more clinical than that.
Nice front kick to the face.
That was a really good front kick from Noorishyam. And he took a little bit of the swagger out of Khairul there. He's got him in a lock.
And remember, all 4 limbs are not down, so you can actually continue to punch.
Right. Noorishyam can still punch downwards. He is doing that. He's in fact keeping, as you said, Anthony, the 2 legs up in the air so that he's allowed to keep fighting, almost evading the law.
He's got to worry about that arm, though.
He's got to worry about that arm.
Being grabbed.
It's not a clean takedown. His arm's in a lock himself. But look at this.
Khairul looks like he's going to try to overturn this to his advantage.
Now it's turning into a proper sumo match now. Oh, he's being dragged out of the ring.
There's an opportunity. No. Right before he's able to go into that arm bar attempt.
Yeah,
10 seconds is up.
Called the stop. She resumes.
A minute and a half gone here in the very first round.
This is a nice, solid performance from both fighters, though. We've seen good kicks. Both of them have shown they're not against the takedowns at all.
Looks like they're trying to catch their second win here, though. A good jab there.
Again, they're caught in a grapple. And again, it's that arm that's locked. Now, Noorishyam looking for that arm. He's got it back.
Now he's got the full mount.
He's got the full mount. He can still keep hitting down because his shoulders are not on the deck.
Might be looking for the crucifix here. He's trying to set it up.
He's trying to set it up.
And now he's going to
He's going for it. It's got to be a submission. Almost impossible to come out of that.
But he was able to.
He did. He got enough of his body weight around. But this is turning into a great fight.
Looking for that armbar once again. He's turning it. This might be the opportunity to finish the fight. 16 seconds remaining in round number 1.
Well, Khairul is taking a literal battering. Oh, that's a strong arm.
Seconds are ticking away, though. He doesn't have the proper angle.
Doesn't have the proper angle. He couldn't close it out. But as we said, we expected as we move through the fight card to see more and more SILAT coming out of it. And so far, that was a pretty perfect round in terms of torso attacks, head attacks, and of course, the grapples.
Not to mention the striking that we saw. A very nice front kick to start off this exchange. There was that takedown there.
It's a good combo there, good double combo with the fist.
Here an opportunity for Muhammad to rain punches down.
And not an easy position to accept those punches as well with your back half bent. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm looking over at Khairul now in his corner, and definitely some of the swagger that we saw walking in the ring has now brushed off. Kind of expected, I suppose. And his taller opponent, Noorishyam, seems to be using that height well enough.
Yes, he has, especially in the exchanges from afar. And even when they're on the ground, just using those long limbs.
So looking a little bit more serious-minded, as we'd expect. Khairul in the white, Noorishyam in the black.
And referee Meti says, let's get on with round number 2.
Tentative kicks and punches from Khairul. He's in another lock. Oh, but he reverses it.
Looking for the triangle choke here.
That is
I think he's got it.
amazing. He's got it. It looks like he's got the triangle. He's really pulling on all of his wrestling experience here, Noorishyam.
But once again, getting out of it.
Getting out of it. This really has been Harry Houdini from both fighters. They've been escaping each other's takedowns.
Boy, Khairul has really survived so many instances wherein the fight could have easily been over.
I must say, I'm a big fan of that kind of tenacity. He comes in with the flying punch.
Superman punch coming in here
That was
for Khairul.
the shorter fighter coming in with the flying punch against a taller opponent.
And now he's raining down punches. And once again, they're going to be stood up.
1:45 left in round 2.
An explosive affair once again.
Khairul just almost fell into that.
And here's where Muhammad can actually use his wrestling.
Yeah. It's a difficult proposition for Khairul because he's got to come in with the open limbs.
Looks like he's got the choke.
Looks like he's got it this time. It looked pretty solid.
But then all of a sudden he let it go. Now he's just trying to rain down punches.
Those rabbit punches to the torso again.
They're going to be stood up. No, but once again, Muhammad
There's enough
putting
movement.
up one of those limbs.
Wow, this has got to be the toughest fight we've seen so far.
Suddenly, Khairul,
Yeah, he's just flipped around the other way.
exactly, he's now in side control here. Looking for the armbar the other way.
Wow. We've seen some stuff in this ring so far, but this has really been a wrestling masterclass from both fighters. But you have to give it to Khairul for being smaller. 25 seconds left. Can he make it to the end of the round?
Right now he's hanging on for dear life, Muhammad is. And now back on their feet for the final 12 seconds.
I wonder if any of these fighters are going to switch from that. As we hear the clappers for 10 seconds to go. Seconds running out. This is another flying punch.
And suddenly we can see here,
Going back.
the aggressor is Khairul.
Unbelievably that you'd see two Superman punches from the smaller fighter, but he honestly has a lot of heart, this boy.
And just when it looked like he was so winded after that first round,
Well,
he comes up with a better performance in the second.
Even now, as you see him now, he's moving forward there, looking for the punches. While this replay is going on, he's right in front of us, Khairul, and he looks like one of those guys that can just keep going the distance every single time. Yes, it's about explosive force. Yes, it's about destruction, but it's also about hanging in there as well. And the amount of escape routines that Khairul has come up with so far is impressive. And if we switch it, of course, now Mohamed Noisham is probably thinking in his corner as we look over the other side of the ring as to what he has to do to put this Singaporean down.
Well, screaming in his ear is Ann Osman, giving him additional pointers.
Now, I wonder if he's going to go. Most of the time, he's been absorbing Khairul's attacks, trying to turn them into the locks. They've been reversing on him. And let's just see if he comes out with something else now.
You can see Ann Osman was not happy with the performance of Muhammad there.
As you said, playing for pride. Malaysian flag draped around his arms as he walked in the ring. Malaysian.
Muhammad's face, he looks busted up.
Yeah, he looks really busted up. We're talking about the tenacity in Khairul's face.
Looking for the choke here.
Oh, he's looking like
It's
he's
Khairul.
Quick little punch there to the chin.
Trying to go for the arm.
Trying to go for it. He's got his neck wrapped up in Khairul's legs there. These two really have been at it so far. We're into the third and final round.
Now
the
a good
question,
advantage here for Muhammad.
the question
He's
really is,
holding on to the arm and he can rain down punches here.
he's looking for his position. Khairul trying to get out of it, looking for that back door. This must have been an incredible fight to score for the judges.
That was
There's
very,
been
very wise here from Khairul, making sure that all four of his limbs were on the ground for 10 seconds, and so back
gets
on
up,
their feet.
He's looking for punches. He keeps getting rained down like that, just pulled down to the turf. He gets a chance at some torso punches. Technically, they would be hitting the back, wouldn't they?
That's right, you cannot hit at the
They're
back.
not supposed to hit the back of
Well,
any
he's trying to
individual.
hit the side of the body there.
Just on the side.
That's a gray area right there.
That is a gray area. It's almost delineated by the outfit as well, but that line on the back. Now, time is ticking away, and the question really facing everybody that's around this ring is how do you score this fight? Because Noisham has come up with the greater attacks. He's been in control, but the aggression and tenacity that's been shown by Khairul is bound to have resonated with the judges.
I totally agree with you. You know, if you look at it, I would think Mohamed Noorsham got the first round, but the second round might have gone to Khairul. So this third round just might be the decider. Of course, once again, just reminding everybody, the fights are scored in its entirety and not round per round.
So the judges will have a bit of a head scratcher here because Khairul just keeps getting up. Look, he keeps moving forward as well.
But it looks like Noorsham is winded here. And he ends up on top. There's a chance here for a rear naked choke.
No.
But right before he's able to execute that,
Mehdi stops it.
Final 30 seconds of this battle.
And you can just see the damage that's been done to both fighters. They're both winded, they're both out of breath, they both don't know what to do. 22 seconds on the clock. And again, he's pulled to the floor. Clapball sound for 10. Khairul gets his gum shield knocked out for the last 5 seconds of the match. It's going to be close, this one.
Trying to go for the arm. But that is going to be the end of the fight, and we're going to go to the judges' scorecards. And this, my goodness,
now,
I can't even venture a guess.
Well, for whatever reason, it was brought forward on the fight card, and definitely for the fans, it was one to savor. And Khairul he's got his groove on again.
And just when I thought he didn't have any wind left,
well, yeah, he's
ready to dance.
There's An Osman talking to Noorsham. It's going to be interesting the way this is called. Everyone's hanging on their seats as to how it could go. Let's have a look at some of the replays. Now, this was a general story throughout the fight.
You know, both these fighters really traded positions on top, traded chokes, traded punches and kicks.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see just how the judges score this one.
Well, they both got their flags up. All the Malaysians in the crowd obviously are going to be looking for a home win, but it's too close to call here.
Singapore versus Malaysia.
There was that mouth guard getting popped out in that last exchange. That's not going to factor into the judges' decision.
Everybody knows how close this one is.
It's going to be very interesting just to see how much the home field advantage is going to come into play
home
here.
Field
as
advantage.
far as the judges are concerned as well, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was actually, if you looked at it, it was a very fairly even fight.
Yeah, in its entirety, as you said, over the 3 rounds.
And again, you can hear the cheers from the crowd here, making so much noise when Noorsham's name is being called out, and everybody's dead silent when it's Khairul.
Yeah, that's expected from the national rivalry. Well, the judges are taking their time with it.
How much influence that is going to be on our 3 judges, we're going to find out in a bit.
Here we go. Mehdi calls both fighters together, holds both their hands. One will be raised. And Malaysia's called the winner. Well, you were saying, Anthony, it could be home field advantage, but it was too close to call. Both fighters coming in. I think maybe the fact that Noorsham had the upper hand on most of those exchanges, that's probably what got him this.
Not only that, he also actually had a very strong flurry to end that third round, so that just might have tipped it in his favor.
So we are 4 fights in now. And as is tradition now, you can say after these 4 fights, the VIPs will be up, and this time it is in fact the Minister of Youth and Sports, Khairi Jamaluddin, who will be presenting the prize to our mini national hero at the moment. A medal to signify your participation in 1 SILAT, plus of course prize money. Not just for taking part, but also for winning.
But at this particular stage, I'm sure Mohamed Noorsham is just happy to be the winner. because
Well,
he represented himself very well in front of his hometown fans.
and in front of his minister, who's taking a little photo call there. Ministry of Youth and Sports in Malaysia, firm supporter of Wan Silat, and the minister himself as well. And I can see we're getting ready for our next fight. We'll be back with that. Stay with us on Wan Silat.